Hey guys, Superhorrorbro Mike here, and in today's video, we travel deeper into the depths of a nightmarish kindergarten as we explore the story of Garden of BanBan Chapter 4. So sit back, relax, and let's journey through another chapter of oddball mascot mayhem. A pillar trick in hand, our parental protagonist reaches the next floor after taking an elevator down into the mysteriously titled Kingdom. The moment they step off the elevator, our hero is surprise attacked by none other than Tamataki and Kamataki, the two-headed chameleon turtle hybrid they sent plummeting into the depths of a daycare during the events of the previous chapter. It seems the beast survived and now gives chase. The parent picks up the Apillichick and races for safety, eventually squeezing through a hallway too narrow for their pursuer to follow. A little further ahead, the parent comes across an oddly placed button, and by interacting with it, activates a gas that places them into a deep slumber. After passing out, they are dragged away by an unseen assailant. They awaken in an interrogation room. A mysterious figure shrouded in darkness speaks to the parent through tinted glass.
Listen up, criminal. That whole act of you being unconscious won't work on me. You're a prisoner now. You'll do what you're told without any questions. Understood?
The protagonist is tasked with answering a series of questions. They must press the yes or no buttons to comment on which mascots at the kindergarten they have encountered so far. After answering these questions, the parent is released and the lights go up, revealing the identity of their captor to be none other than resident peacekeeper, Sheriff Toadster.
What on earth are you doing this deep down anyway, partner? You know what? Follow me. We can talk more inside. It's not very safe out here.
From case reports, we learn that Sheriff Toadster was created by splicing the DNA of a toad with that of a human, and then adding the Javanium solution to the mix. To create the sheriff's personality, the mascot experiment was shown Western movies every day, where they learnt the heroic ways of law enforcement in the Wild West. Though scientists agreed that they may have gone overboard with exposure to such media, its influence made Sheriff Toadster feel compelled to protect his fellow mascots no matter the cost, and in doing so, he became dangerous to the humans. He deemed anyone who wasn't a mascot to be a criminal in need of locking up. His methods of capture were far too violent for any human to survive. Because of this, further experimentation on Case 9 was abandoned, and he was locked away in the depths of the facility, never to see the light of day ever again. The sheriff leads the parent to a new location known as the Kingdom, his base of operations. Here, in a towering castle, resides Queen Bouncelia, a giant kangaroo who sits atop a throne.
I am Queen Bouncelia, the ruler of the kingdom. This is Sheriff Toadster, the protector and only other citizen of the kingdom. I apologize on behalf of both myself and the sheriff for the rough reception.
She is surrounded by barrels of Javanium, the chemical solution used to transform once normal animals and humans into the strange mascots that now inhabit the abandoned kindergarten. The Queen explains to the parent that her lost children are unlikely to be down in the depths of her kingdom, but she promises to help them find a way back to the upper floors. To do so, they will need Sheriff Toadster's assistance in order to repair the elevator, which requires the duo to locate 3 separate gears. These gears are stashed in various subsections of the kingdom, which can be reached by taking an old transport system. En route to the station, the sheriff explains that an entity known as the Jester is searching for the Queen with a mission to make her laugh. This would be very bad, as causing the Queen to laugh will release the naughty ones contained in her pouch.
The Jester, who you claim to have met before, has gone rogue. No matter what happens, he must not make the Queen laugh. Otherwise, what's in her pouch escapes, and we all die.
It is unclear why releasing these mysterious creatures is so dangerous, but it is made very clear by the sheriff that doing so would have catastrophic ramifications. As with the sheriff, we learn a little more about the Queen by reading several in-game notes scattered throughout the environment. She was created by splicing human and kangaroo DNA with the GV solution. After her creation, Case 14 remained calm but was deemed dangerous due to the entities growing within her pouch. If destabilized, these creatures may hatch, and so she was moved to the lower levels of a facility for safekeeping. Unlike many other mascots, Queen Bouncelia has a kind demeanor, and was not deemed an immediate threat. It is also said her scepter held magical properties, and so was taken away for research by the scientists. While exploring the station, we come across a note left by an unnamed staff member who feels betrayed after being left behind by their co-workers when all hell broke loose on the upper floors of the facility. The staff member seems to have no knowledge of the dangerous experiments created by the scientists in the depths of a kindergarten, and comments on a giant floating face they encountered. This is almost certainly the entity known as Zolphius that we previously encountered in Chapter 2 and 3, and also glimpsed briefly later in Chapter 4. Their exact origins remain unknown. Riding the transport system, Captain Toadster explains that he decided to look out for the other mascots after being rescued by the Queen while at his lowest point. He seeks to restore order to the kindergarten. They disembark from the transport and enter the ventilation sector. The parent enters a side room and finds themselves trapped inside, coming face to face with a new mascot named Giggle, aka the Jester.
Hi, I'm a hungry snake. Do you have any food?
Toad stars never disappoint, partner.
Giggle feels compelled to tell jokes and make people laugh. His mission is to perform a joke for the Queen. It seems to be this mascot's sole reason for existing, and he is hell-bent on the destruction of anyone who tries to prevent him from completing his task. Sheriff Toadster saves the parent from Giggle, and a pillar chicken toe, now confirmed to be called Little Beak, the three venture into the ventilation room where they must carefully avoid hatches where spidery menace Nabnab lurks. On the far side of a room, they locate the first of 3 gears needed to repair the elevator, and so head back to report their successful mission to the Queen.
I wanted to let you know how much I respect the things you are doing to get your child back. Putting your life on the line and fighting forces far more powerful than you like that is just admirable. The kingdom can now proudly announce that it has reached a population of 5. I say 5 because a friend of yours showed up while you were away. He was in a damaged state, so I told him to stay in the infirmary.
The parent is told that a familiar face is waiting for them in the infirmary, and so they head over to see who this acquaintance is. Upon entering the infirmary, we see that BanBan survived his run-in with Jumbo Josh during the conclusion of Chapter 3, and is now well rested and returned to good health. BanBan explains that he was being controlled by someone else, and did not wish to try and harm the protagonist.
I was forced to obey without much thought. I tried communicating with you from afar for a reason. Now you know the true reason why. Still, I want to make it up to you. The Queen filled me in on the situation with the elevator. I want to help with that.
BanBan offers to help track down the second gear needed to fix at the elevator, and informs the parent he will meet them at the station. While in the infirmary, they come across another familiar mascot, Stinger Flynn, and wake them to engage in conversation. At this time, they are transported into Flynn's dream world, where a very peculiar sequence plays out. A group of mascots sit around the burning wreckage of a car when they hear an ominous sound in the distance. It seems this dream world is home to a variety of terrors from across the mascot horror universe, as before long they are attacked by none other than Choo Choo Charles. Fellow spider Nabnab manages to calm Charles, at which point the dream ends and our hapless hero is jolted back to reality. They now head to the station where BanBan is patiently waiting. The two journey to the feeding sector, and on the way, BanBan explains his true identity. He was once the scientist Adam Uffman, who worked alongside Weatherly Mason on many of the inhumane mascot experiments in the depths of a research facility beneath the kindergarten. Uffman explains that he regrets not putting an end to the experiments before they got out of hand, but also comments on how his co-workers turned on him in the final months before the breakout occurred. It seems there was unrest amongst the employees of the facility. Upon reaching the station, BanBan and the parent encounter Jumbo Josh, who is then snared in a trap set by Sheriff Toadster. A little further into the feeding area, they discover a laboratory. In this lab, strange experiments have taken place in an attempt to create the final version of Giggle. Some of the failed experiments live on inside the room.
You humans are all the same. Thieves with no shame. Your greed knows no limits, only controllable for minutes. You can have the crown, I couldn't care less about that. But can I at least have some applause for my little poem, please?
Continuing on, BanBan carries talking robot Mr. Kebabman as he hopes to deliver it to a lonely friend. Before he can do so, the robot is stolen by Nabnab, who begins carrying it away. BanBan and the protagonist give chase, eventually cornering Nabnab, at which point they begin to fight, and BanBan reverts to his monstrous demonic form.
I tried fixing you so many times, but you're just unfixable. Enough is enough.
After BanBan has taken down the arachnid terror, he is now able to control his inner demons and revert back to his previously friendly state. Though the scuffle has tired him out, and he tells the parent to retrieve the second gear and head back to the Queen's Kingdom alone. On the way back, they encounter Zolphius, and it seems logical to conclude that this was the friend BanBan mentioned. Upon returning to the kingdom and visiting the infirmary, the protagonist is greeted by many more familiar faces. Other mascots the sheriff has apprehended and is now nursing back to good health. There's Selene Snail, the Apillabirds, Bambalina, and Jumbo Josh. For the third and final gear, the parent must venture over to the employee exercise sector. After completing a training exercise, they encounter Giggle, who traps our hero inside a room with a ferocious hybrid entity known as Kittysaurus, half cat, half dinosaur. In order to defeat the Kittysaur, the parent must lure the monster into 4 walls, at which point it bashes its head and eventually knocks itself unconscious. The lockdown then lifts and they are able to obtain the final elevator part. Also in this room is a mysterious note, left, it appears, by one of the scientists and addressed to another. It seems probable that this note was written by Uffman and left for his co-worker and friend Weatherly to find and read. This was their preferred method of communication, as the note explains that employees were under constant surveillance and scrutiny. The note discusses how the scientists plan to pick one child candidate from a pool of potential genome donors attending the kindergarten, suggesting that their experiments extended beyond adults, and children were also being transformed into the monstrous mascots. After collecting up the final gear, the parent is trapped inside a room by Giggle, who, after berating them, explains he is going to head to the kingdom to finally tell his joke to the Queen.
I am the ultimate jokester. There was nobody better to be made, even if by me. With the sheriff occupied, thanks to you, reaching the Queen will be a piece of cake.
Using their trusty drone, the parent is able to hit a button outside the room, freeing them, but unfortunately all too late. As they arrive back in the kingdom and head for the castle, they discover Giggle has already obtained an audience with Queen Bouncelia. A tremor in the facility causes Little Beak to fall from its perch and into a giant barrel of Javanium, transforming the helpless chick into a horrifying bird of prey. This twisted creature then attacks Kittysaurus, who has joined Bittergiggle to witness the telling of his joke. With both monsters engaged in battle, the Jester finally takes the spotlight and delivers a rather terrible one-liner.
What did the train conductor say to the kangaroo? Hop on!
That was terrible.
We gotta run! This entire floor's going down! The naughty ones are escaping!
The joke is so bad it causes the Queen to burst into uncontrollable laughter, her pouch splitting open and the naughty ones emerging from within in a beam of blinding light. Sheriff Toadster quickly leads the parent to the elevator as Bittergiggle gives chase. They make it in one piece, alongside Stinger Flynn, who the sheriff claims will be vital in their upcoming quest. As they descend further into the facility, the sheriff mentions the Queen's magical scepter, and how this elusive item will play a key role to put a stop to the madness now unfolding in the facility.
If we make it down there alive, we need to find the Queen's scepter. It's the only thing that can stop this madness.
And with that, the chapter ends, and brings us to the end of this story explained video for Garden of BanBan 4. We'll have to see how weird and wacky things continue to get as both chapter 5 and 6 are planned to release in the coming months. For now, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it both entertaining and informative. If you did, remember to leave a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe for more horror related content. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.